When Meg walked into my office for her first therapy appointment, I was struck by the rather hollowed-out appearance of this naturally beautiful woman with her abundant dark curly hair. Settling herself on the couch, she began describing her uncontrollable crying and feelings of hopelessness. She said, almost apologetically, "I used to be happy." Meg wondered if her mood was due to a chemical imbalance, in part because her brother suffered from periods of depression. She thought she might be genetically predisposed to depression, which she thought of as a disease. It soon became clear, however, that her marriage of 4 years was in trouble. In a near whisper, she said, "My husband and I barely talk anymore. He's always busy. I feel like he's avoiding me." Since I think of mood as an interpersonal experience, I suspected her depression was related to the dismal state of her marriage. I invited her husband to join for the next session. Meg's husband, Brian, worked as a writer for a well-known progressive think tank. He wore his political passions on his sleeve. Handsome, with tousled red hair, Brian projected a kind of tight energy, like a coiled spring. His work commitments occupied a large share of his time and energy, which he recounted with great passion. The couple had a 3-year-old toddler, Adam. Meg and Brian described their relationship prior to Adam's arrival as having a free-wheeling quality, where they enjoyed a high degree of individual freedom. The transition from couple to family put new demands on them. They used to be two free spirits who bumped into each other when they felt like it. That no longer worked. It looked to me like Meg and Brian had managed to avoid addressing some areas of conflict while they were childless. But the complexities of becoming a 3-person family made these unresolved issues more pressing. At the end of this first visit, I commented, "It looks to me like Meg's depression is more of a duet, not a solo." They didn't disagree. At the second meeting, Meg opened up about her depression. She clearly felt that her husband's strict adherence to his political principles didn't allow enough room for her voice or her perspective. "It feels like there is no room for me, for what I want," she said. Meg talked about the time she looked forward to preparing a lovely omelet for their son, but Brian opposed it, based on his own strict vegan diet. Meg tried to reassure him it was okay, painting a picture of happy, cage-free chickens eating organic feed, but Brian was adamant in his opposition. For Meg, Brian's passions felt exclusive rather than inclusive. Meg was especially animated as she described preparing a meal. "Food and feeding people is how I show love," she added, smiling.